Yes, obviously the news broke this morning. I thought it was a G-up because Brooksy sent me a text saying, it was really early this morning, about 8 o'clock, saying Roosters statement, David Fifita will no longer be going to the Roosters. He has decided. Has he decided, or did the Roosters decide?
Yeah, I'll read this out then, Fletchy. The Gold Coast Titans can confirm David Fifita will remain at the club beyond 2024 and have approved his request to activate his player option for the next 2 seasons. This will result in Fifita remaining part of the Gold Coast squad until the end of 2026. I've got a quote here from him. I'm extremely grateful for the time and interest shown in me over the past 2 weeks, but upon further reflection, I have made the decision that I want to remain a Titan beyond 2024. I'm excited about the direction this team is taking and being close to home, and my family has been central to helping me make this decision.
Right. Well, conspiracy theorists out there were saying that Kalyn Ponga, when that news broke, the Roosters saying, well, hang on, let's not, we've maybe gone in a little bit too hard. We may need a 6 next year. That's what everyone's saying. I don't think that was correct, but I have this. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is exclusive to the run home. This is audio I got off. Now, don't ask me where I got it from, but it's pretty self-explanatory. Take it away, tourist.
Hi, you've called Dave Fifita's phone. Sorry I can't take your call right now. Please leave a message after the beep. Go Chookies!
Hey David, it's Gordon Tallis. I'm just preparing for NRL 360 and I don't have any pants on.
What I do have are a very particular set of skills. Skills I've acquired over a very long career. Skills that make me a nightmare for people like you.
If I see a signed Titans contract in the morning on my desk,
that'll be the end of it. I will not look for you. I will not pursue you. But if you don't, I will look for you. I will find you. And I will kill you.
Jeez, Gordy.
That's a bit heavy from Gordy.
Very heavy.
He's very anti-Roosters at the moment, isn't he, Gordy? I've seen you've been getting into him.
It all lines up and explains how he's been off the bit on NRL 360.
Yeah.
telling the Roosters how David Fifita should be paid, $1 million, and $330,000 at the end of it. So I don't know what's gone on. I don't know whether it's David or it's the Roosters. The Roosters said that their statement basically said that they've withdrawn their offer.
I've got that here as well, Fletchy. So the Sydney Roosters have withdrawn their offer to David Fifita, despite his management making the initial approach to the club and Fifita personally informing the Sydney Roosters chairman and head coach of his intent to join the club last Thursday. Fifita has since expressed doubts over his decision. Consequently, the club has elected to withdraw its offer with the view that it is in the Roosters' best interest. The club wishes Fifita all the best. So who is telling porkies?
Someone's telling porkies, and it's happened within less than a week. In 6 days, something's gone on that we need to know.
This sounds like if if you break up with the ex and you start telling your friends that you broke up first, and they're like, no, I'm the one that broke it up. So who did break?
Unless he's just sitting at home just thinking, he's had, they had a good win and the boys got into him at Melbourne's and they said, come on, Davey, you don't want to go down the Roosters, stay here. Let's get another lap dance.
I seen you ask Sam Verrills about Melbourne's if it's still going. Yeah. Do you know if it's still going or not?
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
No, because is it off, Brooks?
I think Burley's the thing now. All the locals go down Burley. Backpackers in Surfers, locals in Burley.
How do you think the Panthers are feeling about all this then? Have you thought about that? Has anyone brought that up today?
Oh, no. Boo-hoo. Poor old Panthers. How are they feeling?
Do you reckon... Well, yeah, exactly. The compensation. Ivan was last week talking about compensation for losing juniors. Now he loses a recruit.
I tell you
the opportunity to get the recruit.
Tell you who the big winner is Angus Crichton. He now knows how much they got. If Robbo says, mate, we can only afford 600 for you. You go, pig's ass. You're going to give Davey Fifita 900.
Yeah, Brooksy.
I was going to say the Roosters situation too, where you've gone and signed Fifita and Crichton's come out publicly and said they didn't inform me that this was going to be playing out this way. Then now they've lost Fifita and you've alienated Crichton. Like, you've given him a reason. Yes, you've got that space still. The left edge is still there for him to take, but you've alienated him. And now other teams know how much they were going to pay for Fifita, so they can now go, all right, if Crichton's 800 from the Roosters, we'll give you 9, 10. Remember what they said? Remember what they did with Fifita? Maybe come here and we'll look after you. Penrith are probably in a really good position to get Crichton now.
I think as soon as we saw that, I would say Angus will be signed by the end of the week.
Can you unalienate someone with the right figure, Fletchy? Can that?
Yeah.
Or will maybe a person like Angus Crichton have a little bit too much pride? He's been a great servant for that club now for a while.
You reckon he would walk?
Well, maybe if it's just say if it does come down to a situation where the price is the same for either team, and then he goes, you know what? You were going to go in a different direction.
Yeah.
Why don't I make the decision go in a different direction?
Jilted lover, you think?
Yeah, maybe. And to your tinfoil hat, and you tossed up looking for a 6 now that Kez is moving on. They should have, this is the one occasion or the one time where actually Roosters should have cap left, right? Jared's moving on. Joseph Manu, Joseph Suaalii, Luke Keary. Surely that's enough cap that they could have potentially kept both anyway, Fifita and Crichton.
Well, it has come out it's $4 million in cap space. I would think it might be closer to 5. And now they've probably got 6 because Dave Fifita's not. Someone's going to win the lottery.
But they've gone the long way about it because you've told Tupanua too that you can look for another team. Crichton was pretty much on that. Well, he'd negotiated a verbal deal with a French rugby team, right?
Yeah.
So you've told him to go look as well. So you've gone about it the long way to try and get your edges filled. But yeah, they do have that cap space and they do have the history of signing big names and keeping players.
This is very un-Roosters like, Fletchy. I think the last couple of weeks, even with the Dane Gagai news last week, where I think they offered him a 2-year deal and he turned him down. He stayed in Newcastle. Very rarely do they miss out on their player. And
no, but is this all just a plan just to get KP?
Yeah.
Is it a plan just to get righto, Kalyn? I know you were getting knocked out playing 5'8", but come down to the Roosters. We'll teach you how to tackle properly.
So can he officially get out of his deal now with all that's going on with him, or is it still ongoing?
I don't know. Well, they said it's all been cleared up. The third party has come to the party, pardon the pun, but they've paid him the $250K. So my understanding was that his manager, Andre 3000, went to the NRL and said, I haven't been paid. You know, what's doing? And the NRL said, well, that's not our business and our problem. Go back to... maybe he was just trying to put a bit of a rocket up the third party because it's
trying to apply a little bit of pressure,
apparently
a little bit of media pressure.
Apparently he's been paid, so it's
it's
all sweet now.
All right. What about and just before we move off it, David Fifita. I don't know. Did you watch the game on the weekend with him and getting booed?
Yes.
At the start of the game.
Yeah.
I've been in a similar situation where I played. I joked around at the start, but I was playing with Daly in 2015 when he signed for he'd agreed to go to the Titans and then he changed his mind. But
do you ever know why he changed his mind?
Yeah, I do.
Are you allowed to say this?
Yeah, I think it was around. They were trying to, at the time, there's probably more details that Ches will tell in his own time, I think. But basically it was around Foz and Ches, and they couldn't keep both of them.
Oh, okay.
And then Foz ended up making his decision to move on to Para regardless. And I think Manly were going for pretty hard at Foz at the time. So
what year
he
was
was the Angus Crichton in the situation where I think it ended up being like, all right, we missed out now. Foz is gone. Now, can you please stay? And it'll be something similar to that, I reckon.
And what was Daly like after that? Like, was he jilted? Was he?
Yeah, because that was a rough time. Like he was going through not only it was a rough time for him those couple of years at Manly as well, and then the Origins. I think he got dropped around Origin around that period as well. Like he was close in and around the mark. So that was a rough couple of years for him.
So when he re-signed, he didn't re-sign for 10 years, did he?
No, 6.
When did the big 10-year deal come?
He never got a 10-year deal. He got I think he got 10 mil for 6.
Oh, okay.
He got the 1.5, 1.5.
Sorry. So my question to you is, when he re-signed, when Foz went to the Dogs?
Yeah. No, to Para with Brad Arthur.
That's right. Did they re-sign Daly for that 6 years straight away?
Straight away. So they
got it. They told him, right, you can go.
Well,
then he backflipped and they said, well,
rather than telling him, I don't think he even had an offer, to be fair. I think it was more they were just going all in on Fozzie.
Right.
And then Foz ended up going to Para. A couple of the other boys left as well. So Then they prioritised Ches, which obviously worked out really well for him.
Yeah.
Sliding doors, Fletchy? Some of
It
these decisions that I think a couple years previous, Teddy or the year before, Teddy was going down to Canberra and then changed his mind. Remember that?
Yeah, but I don't think he even officially agreed.
Yeah, maybe he just was too scared to say no to Sticky.
I think so. Or he had a meeting with Sticky and said, "Holy hell, I'm getting out of here." But I know. Who else was a backflipper? Oh,
Papali'i,
That's right. Yeah,
Parramatta.
Oh,
Tim
yeah,
Malton,
yeah.
Tigers to Dragons.
Yep.
Oh,
They're probably the biggest ones, aren't they? Teddy and Ches, I think, for most people.
Well, Ches,
Everyone remembers Ches. Hardly anyone remembers Teddy's.
that's right. Yeah, Ches was pretty big.
Yeah.
because they hammered him up in
Courier Mail.
Courier Mail.
You know why?
Said, mate, you're a cockroach.
Yes.
You're a blue.
That's right.
And you'll never captain
Because he
Queensland
was a
again.
Queenslander and it was obviously the Gold Coast. That's what made it so big.
Yeah.
Everyone was rat's ass about poor Canberra.
Yeah, I know. I said, good on you.
No one cared. All right, mate. The other big news, coaching news, Wayne Bennett to coach the Bunnies. So he has agreed to terms on a $3 million, 3-year deal after meeting with South Sydney officials in Brisbane on Monday. The deal has not been signed, but Rabbitohs officials flew to Queensland on Monday to work out the terms of his agreement. Now, this is the worst kept secret, Fletchy.
Yeah.
Everyone, I suppose, assumed that this was going to happen a couple of weeks ago now.
But
Good move, bad move.
Great move.
Yeah.
Great move. So when you get rid of your coach, you ask 17 of the, or 16 at the moment, 16 of the 17, if you said, right, if your coach had to move on and you had to spear him, who would you want in there? It'd be Bellamy, I'd imagine,
Yep.
Bennett. So the Bunnies have done the right thing here, surely. Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. He had to be the guy. And if the other rumour in the progression plan is potentially getting Big Sammy back at some point, we all know about how close they are and they've got the relationship. And obviously, Sammy being a favourite son of South Sydney. So it makes sense, doesn't it?
He's signed for 2 years over there.
For 2 years.
So he'll definitely see out those two. He might come back in the third year as an assistant. Who knows? But let's just see how Wayne goes. I was saying to Sugar, is there anyone other than actors and people who've owned their business, what sort of 77-year-old, 76-year-old is going to be earning $1 million a year?
Will this get him
Doing
to
the
80?
job?
Is he 70? Is
74.
He's 74. So he's going to get to
75.
77.
I think he's 75 this year, isn't he? So it'll be, he was 78 when he comes off.
At the top of your game in a profession, I wonder if we can have a look and if we can find it, Brooksy. Like even
Old coaches
old coaches.
who were still in their prime. Well, Belichick's gone, isn't he, too?
Yeah, Belichick would have been a candidate, but even Pete Carroll was old. You know Pete Carroll.
Late 60s,
yeah.
I think he was, Seahawks.
Yeah, for the Seahawks. He just finished up at the Seahawks. So
Tourist, can you do a little bit of, or Dom, Brasco Dom, that's Brasco Dom. Do you know Brasco Dom?
yeah, I know Brasco
Yeah.
Dom. I heard.
Dom, can you find out the oldest coach in professional sport at the moment?
Thank you, Brasco.
ATM.
I was listening in a couple of weeks ago with his dating advice. It was a good listen.
Oh, yeah.
He's going well.
I might get him up. We might get him in. For
Have you had an update? Have you had an update in a while?
Dom, don't look at me like that. Just get back to work. And now he went out on a date because Sugar chipped him about his beard.
Yeah.
He just said, "Mate, you're not going to get anything."
He likes a little bit of stubble, doesn't he?
He loves the stubble because he said he looks like Michael J. Fox.
Teen Wolf.
Yeah, no. No, when he doesn't shave.
Mate, there was a more in the coaching news, actually. We mentioned Canberra. We mentioned Ricky Stewart. Raiders head coach Ricky Stewart has re-signed on a new deal, which will see him remain at the club until the end of 2029.
Oh, wow.
That just makes sense as well, doesn't it? For me.
Well, I tell you what, he's got the young kids now that he's given debuts to.
Yeah.
And so those kids will forever remember Stick as their favourite coach. So, because he gave them a start. So when they lost Jackie White, and a lot of people thought, that might.
I did. I gave him the spoon.
Did you?
I've been super impressed with what he's been able to do there, and he's been pretty vocal about it, hasn't he?
You the coal miner.
Was Coal Miner as well? Was he?
He wasn't keen on him. He's a Raider hater, they call him.
Yeah, that's right. No, he did mention that.
Yeah, well, Stick would never coach for anyone else. You would think. Now, after being down there, he's come out and said, he's a favourite son. So, yeah, it's probably a good move. Great move for him.
All right, well, let's get some feedback from the listeners on the text line, but we'll take a break now and we'll get to that after the break.